Here we've got Roland Verselab version 1.8, and it's quite a large update this. We've got a new undo and redo, we've got clip import, we've got clip compatibility with the MC707 and the MC101, which I haven't demoed because I haven't got an MC707 or a 101. We've got random tone designer, so you can create your own tones just on the flash, just press random and just keep on hitting it till you find something you like. Got vocal take panning, I demo this in a bit. We've got new effects in there. We've got an exciter, a phonograph, which is like an old record player. We've got the JD800 effects, the JD800 multi effect, I should say. We can also record MIDI CC from external instruments. Got an additional motion control. We've got a virtual one that you access using Edit in Controller 1. We've got loop at BPM Sync, so if you've got a loop, it will change the timing of the loop as you change the BPM. And then we've got an auto MIDI channel change per track. So if you're playing something on a certain MIDI channel, if you've got a MIDI channel on your controller keyboard, as you change these, it will automatically change to the track that you've selected, which is supremely handy. So let's get straight to it and just see how they all work. The first and the easiest thing to show you is the undo. So let's load a track that we can all access. And let's go to one of the presets. Last Call, I think this is called. Let's go to section 2. Okay, going to change the kick pattern. What have we got here? Let's just change the actual length of that, shall we? Edit the measure. What have we got? 64. Let's turn that down to 16, just so it's really obvious what we're doing here. There we go. It's quite nice actually, but let's undo it. It's dead simple, this. Exit and back. And you can see we're undoing each of those. And we can redo them with exit and measure forward. So it's actually quite a nice little performance tool, isn't it? Very cool. You can't undo from section to section, so if you went to the next section or you went to something else, another clip, you can't undo between them. You're limited to the one that you're working with at the time. So if I went along to, let's put a few more in, then I go to 3, change that one, go back to 2, I won't be able to undo these. And I won't now be able to undo the 3 because I've already moved back over to 2. So you're limited to whatever section you're working in. Let's look at vocal panning then. We're in song mode. We'll go to the vocal track. I've got a few things on these. People I love. Okay, so let's go to edit. We're going to edit the main vocal. We're on take, sample, edit. Let's enter that. And there we go, we've got pan. If we go to the start, we've got start, end, level, and then pan. So I'll have that little play with this, obviously. People I love so long, and people I have known. There we go, panning. Let's go to this one, and it's individual for each of the different takes. So let's put this one on the left. Let's put this one on the right. Where's all the love gone? Where's the love all gone? Where's all the love gone? Where's the love? There you go. Very, very simple, that one. Loop at BPM Sync. I've got a loop on this. It's at 95 BPM apparently. If I press Shift and the track, I get to the general settings. And if we come through this, we've got BPM Sync is on now. So we've got BPM Sync, which we never had before. So if I just play the track again and change the actual tempo. You can hear the loops changing its tempo. Let's just put that on a solo, shall we? So that's in the track settings, which you get to with shift and track. Let's look at the new Muti effect. We'll look at the bass, I think, on this track. Maybe let's put it onto a section that's got some bass on. Okay, so we'll listen to the bass there. Let's edit this section. Muti FX. If we come in, we've got them on. Let's just try and find the new ones. They're not all at the end. One of them's at the very end, I think, and that's the JD Multi. The JD Multi is really interesting, actually. It's tons of effects in here. The first thing you can do is change the sequence of the effects. We've got distortion, phaser, spectrum, which is like an EQ, and an enhancer. So if we go through that, we can change that into all different configurations. And then we can switch each of these on or off. DS switch off, phaser on or off, and if we go through, we've got different parameters we can change on each of them as well. So let's put the distortion on, shall we? That's the mellow drive. Very, very fuzzy. And then we can change the level of that. We won't go through everything. We can even got a phaser on there as well. Let's turn that phaser off. Put it back on again. And just change a few of the parameters. It more obvious. There you go. You can definitely hear a phaser now if you couldn't before. But yeah, you've got those 4 effects and loads of manipulation within those. Let's come out of that, go back in there. Let's come back to the type again, and let's just change that. We do have this one called phonograph. Let's find that. There we go. And in this, we've got all sorts of little things. Got signal distortion, type, we've got scratch and dust, and I'm just whizzing through these because you've got the total at the end. So if you don't turn that up, you don't hear anything. But there you go, you can hear. It sounds like an old record. Bit of hiss, needle scratch. It's an LP or a single place at 33 or 45. A bit of distortion in there as well. And you can hear that's still playing, so let's turn that off. Okay, exit, and then the final one is the enhancer. It would be useful if these were in alphabetical order, wouldn't it? They're in sort of types, aren't they? So exciter and enhancer, and all the phases are together. So yeah, once you know where they are, it's okay. But when you're not sure what you're looking for, yeah, a bit more difficult. It's a bit more difficult to show what this is doing on a bass sound, but let's see if we can hear it. Let's just mute the other instruments, shall we? Let's just solo the bass. Well, you can hear that working, can't you? So there you go, 3 new Muti effects. Next up, we've got an additional virtual controller. Obviously, we've got the 3 that we're used to. 1, 2, and 3, but we can now assign one, a virtual one, to a knob that doesn't exist. If we edit, we can change what the assignments are. And if we edit and shift, we've got controller 4, which didn't exist before. And you can access that via motion. So if you edit the motion, go to the motion designer, and we'll go to destination knob, controller 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And while in here, I'll just quickly show you that we have a different form. We've got random that you can see there, and we've got cos, a cosine rather than a sine. And if you don't know, a cosine is basically a sine wave that's just shifted through 90 degrees. So you shift through a quarter of the cycle. So instead of starting at the center, if you're doing panning, for example, when we start at the center, go left, center, right, center. If you start with the cosine, you'd start at the left, move to the center, and then back around again. So it's basically you're changing the start point from middle to either the left or the right. Very handy, and obviously random is brilliant as well. Here we got a nice little Juno pad. So shift, edit, and 1. Let's put controller 4 that we never had before onto the cutoff. There we go. Then let's go into edit the motion, motion designer, random. We'll put step length of 1 so it changes on every step. Minimum value 0, maximum value 127. Destination knob, we'll put that on CT4, which is the cutoff. Execute. A little bit maybe too much with that 0 to 127, but you get the idea. A little bit of random goodness. Let's just see if we can undo that actually. Exit and back. Undo. Oh, so you can even undo your motion. I know you can go in and clear them, but yeah, quite handy. And what if we didn't want that Juno pad? Let's edit the sound. We've now got random. So we've got a polysynth, a monosynth, a pad, a modulated tone. We've got an analog synth, a monosynth. So they're slightly different, obviously, than the polys, which would maybe have a bit more of a digital tone. An analog pad. Let's try that. See what it sounds like. All right, try another. Got very long attack time, that, doesn't it? Try another. Oh, quite nice. Levels are quite low on them. All very decent sounds, these, aren't they? Oh, that was a mono. Let's try a poly pad that's not actually analog. Much more digital sounding. Try another. And another. So you get the idea. We've got all these different types of sounds we can make. We've got drum sounds as well. We've got kicks, snares, cymbals, cowbell. So whatever you like, really. Pretty much every type of instrument you're going to use. Just nice, bit of randomness and a little bit of who knows what's going to happen. Plus it means that you can generate all these sort of tones that I didn't have originally, and you might just find something that suits your mix perfectly. Okay, time to zoom out and look at some MIDI functions. Here we've got it in the sort of standard mode, whereby I'm playing on MIDI channel 1, so I'm playing the kick. Play MIDI channel 2, I'll play snare. Play on MIDI channel 3, I'll play hi-hat. Okay, but if we go into the system settings, we've got a setup there. Let's just come out of that just to show you. System settings, go to the MIDI tab, go through all the instrument channel tracks, and then we've got auto channel on or off, and we'll put it on channel 1. So whenever I'm playing on MIDI channel 1 now, it's playing whatever's selected here. So, I'm playing the bass, playing that. You get the idea. You're playing whatever's selected via your tracks rather than whatever's selected via the MIDI channel. So, hope that makes sense. Next up, we've got recording messages from external MIDI devices as motions. I've set this up for panning. Let's bring the octave up a bit higher, shall we? So let's record that. There you go, you can hear it's doing it already. And we can do that with pressure, pitch bend, volume, foot control, mod wheel, reverb, send, and a few other things. Not with absolutely everything, but a lot more than you could when you couldn't do with any. And finally, we can load the MV production pack clip packs that's saved on the SD card into it. So if we go to this clip here, sequence, section select, this clip here, if we edit that, goes to load clip in the clip edit menu, click on load clip I should say, go to the sound file, and that's the future pop. That I've just loaded onto the SD card, and we can see we've got various instruments in here. So let's load a bass, because we're on the bass track. Got 16 bass sounds in there, 16 bass clips I should say. Let's load this one. That's a bit slow. Let's change the tempo. Whoops. Let's whack it up to about 120, shall we? Okay, so that's in there. Let's go to instrument 1 and load something, shall we? So we'll edit the clip, load the clip. Sound file, what should we put in? Oh, exit, I want a synth pad. A synth or a pad, what should we put in? Let's put a synth in, synth lead 1, let's just say yes to that. So don't forget I'm still on the same clip, but a different sound, different track. Cool, let's maybe go to instrument 2 and put a pad on there, so we'll edit that. Load the clip, sound file, oops, keep on doing that. Don't want a synth, I want maybe a poly key. Should we try poly key? Let's have a go. Let's not go for the first one this time, let's go for number 11. So there we have it, importing of MV production pack clips. I think I've covered everything. There are loads of little problems and functions that have been corrected like you get in every update, but I think they're all the major things. So I hope you found that useful, and if you did, please think about subscribing, ring the bell, join me on Patreon, support the channel any way you can, and I'll see you next time.